Hey class, we're going to do a little mini lesson right now on special right triangles. This is review from Geometry 1 and possibly Geometry 2, so I hope that a lot of you remember this, and that is why I'm making this pretty brief. I'm going to show you the formulas so you remember them, and then we'll do some practice problems. So basically, if I have a 45-45-90 triangle or a 30-60-90 triangle, the legs of the triangle come in a special pattern that I can use to find a missing side. And if I know this special pattern, I don't have to use sine, cosine, and tangent. I can just use a special pattern instead, and it can be faster. There are two different ways that people traditionally teach the special patterns. So for a 45-45-90 triangle, you may have learned that the two legs are 1 and 1 and the hypotenuse square root of 2. Or you may have learned that this is the x side, this is the x side, this is the x square root of 2 side. Either way is fine, whichever helps you the best. I personally prefer this method, so that's what I'm going to use when I'm teaching this bottom down here. For the 30-60-90 triangle, the side across from the 30-degree angle, the shortest leg of the triangle is a 1. The hypotenuse is 2, and then the side across from the 60-degree is square roots of 3. And then again, alternatively, if you use the other method, it'd be x, 2x, or 2 times the short side, and the short side times square roots of 3 for the side across from 60 degrees. Again, that's what I prefer to use. Pause if you need to, but once you have it down, look at number 1. Here's what's happening then. If I use a special formula, if I know this is a 45-45-90 triangle, I see that one of the straight legs is 5. That means the other straight leg is 5. And the y side is my leg times square roots of 2. So 5 square roots of 2. So for number 2, x would be 7. Y would be 7 square roots of 2. For 3, they just gave us the square root side instead. So if that's 4 square roots of 2, the legs are 4 and 4. It does get harder. So look at number, well, 4 is another easy one actually. 1 times the square root of 2, or just the square root of 2 for my 2 missing legs there. But look, starting with number 5, it gets a little harder because I am given the hypotenuse. That is supposed to be the x square roots of 2 side. So I got to figure out if that's x squared, something times the square root of 2 gives me 1, what the heck is x? Alright, so here's what we'll do. Create a little equation for yourself. So 1 is the x squared roots of 2 side, and now I'm going to solve for x. Now see, to solve for x, I need to divide by the square root of 2. And then I'm going to rationalize my denominator. So I will multiply by square root of 2 over square root of 2. Alright, the short side is square roots of 2 over 2 and square roots of 2 over 2 for both legs. And now, just quick comment, if you're wondering, well, how does that make this a 1? If I was going to go back and prove that that works, so x is square root of 2 over 2. When I plug that into this little formula here, on top, I get 2, and 2 over 2 is 1. So it works. It looks weird, but it works. One more like that. Now I know that the hypotenuse is 8. So again, that is the x square roots of 2 side. I'm going to create a little equation, and I am going to solve for x. This one's going to be a little harder. I'm going to end up with something that I'm going to need to simplify later. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Rationalize. I end up with 8 square roots of 2 over 2. I guess this is just one step harder, and that is 8 divided by 2 is 4. So actually 4 square roots of 2 is the x side. So what I mean is the short sides of the triangle are 4 square roots of 2, and so then the hypotenuse is 8. Go ahead and rewatch that if you need to. We're going to talk about 30-60-90 triangles for 7, 8, and 9. Alright, number 7. We'll start out easy. So this time I'm given the short side, which remember I'm going to call x. So if the short side is x, I said the hypotenuse is 2 times the short side, or 2x, so that would be 30. And then this other side that's across from the 60-degree angle is the x square roots of 3 side. So in this situation, 15 square roots of 3. For number 8, it's also pretty easy, only they gave me the hypotenuse, which remember is 2 times the short side. So if the hypotenuse is 7, the short side is 3.5. And this seems weird, but I guess then this would be the side across from 60 degrees would be 3.5 square roots of 3. And this does get harder as well, so if I look at number 9, I got the side across from 60 degrees, which is the x squared roots of 3 side, is equal to 12. So I need to figure out what x is so that I know what the short side of the triangle is. So here's my little setup. I'm going to divide both sides by the square root of 3. And then I'm going to rationalize my denominator. So 12 times the square root of 3 is 12 square roots of 3. On bottom, I get 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now, 4 square roots of 3 then is my short side. Now check it out. My hypotenuse is supposed to be 2 times the short side, right? 2 times x. Well, when I do 2 times 4 square roots of 3, hopefully you remember from past math classes, just multiply the number in front. You don't multiply the number underneath. So it's 8 square roots of 3 for the y side. Go ahead and pause, repeat any of those examples you need to, and thanks for listening. Make sure you write down questions you might have for me so you can talk to me in class. Thanks.